Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to study one more extension of linear programming problems. As we know that there are certain conditions that need to be fulfilled to consider any problem as linear programming problem. First condition is that the optimization of a single objective. In linear programming problems, the decision maker set only a single objective that should be optimized. It can be maximization of the profit or minimization of the cost. Second condition is that the decision variables in a particular problem are allowed to take any non-negative value which may be in fractions or integer form in the final solution of the problem. What if we relax the conditions of linear programming? If we relax the first condition of having only single objective, it means what if there are more than one objective in a particular type of problem, then what would be the procedure or technique to solve that problem? So to get the optimal solution or to satisfy more than one objective, we need a special type of programming which is known as goal programming. And in second case, when the second condition is relaxed, then we need special type of programming which is known as integer programming that we have discussed in a previous video. So in this video we are going to study about the goal programming. Goal programming problems represents a special class of linear programming problems in which the decision makers set more than one objective, and those objectives are most of the times are conflicting, instead of setting only one objective like in linear programming problems. So in other words, we can say that the linear programming problems comes with additional restriction that there are multiple objectives, then we will call it the goal programming. In goal programming, what we do, we set a numerical goal for each objective and then attempts to achieve that particular goal in a sequential manner. So the goals in goal programming are numerically defined. So there can be three possible states after applying certain tools or techniques. The goal is met exactly, or in other words, we can say that the goal is achieved in an exact manner. Second condition is that the goal is underachieved, and third case is that the goal is overachieved. Suppose that the decision maker set a goal of achieving of profit equal to 1000 rupees. If after solving that problem or after going through the usual course of action, if the profit earned is exactly equal to 1000, then the goal is said to be met exactly. It means we have achieved the goal in an exact manner, in a perfect manner. What if we have achieved or we have earned a profit equal to 800 rupees? In that case, the goal is said to be underachieved by 200 rupees. And that 200 rupees are represented by the sign D negative. Negative sign denotes that there is the loss or there is underachievement of the goal. And in third case, if we got the profit equal to 1500 rupees, then we have overachieved the goal, because we have set the goal of achieving 1000 rupees and instead we have achieved or earned 1500 rupees. In that case, we have overachieved the set goal and by 500 rupees. Those 500 rupees are represented by the symbol D plus. So in simple words, we can say that D negative represents the underachievement of the goal and D plus or positive represents the overachievement of the goal. We are going to use these two variables in solving the goal programming problems. If we look at the differences between goal programming and linear programming, then we find that in linear programming there is only one goal or single goal to achieve, And in comparison of that, in goal programming, we have multiple goals. So it is the most basic difference, the basic difference between goal programming and linear programming. The second difference is that in linear programming, we used slack variables or surplus variables, but in goal programming, we would replace these slack or surplus variables with deviational variables, which are represented by symbol D. In third case, in linear programming, we used to focus on maximization of the profit or minimization of the cost. Or in other words, we focused on optimizing the set objective. But in goal programming problems, the focus would be on minimization of the deviational variables instead of maximizing profit or minimizing cost. We would minimize the deviations from the set goals in goal programming. And in fourth case, again, we would not focus on optimization of the goal. We would focus on satisfaction of the set goal. There are different types of goal programming problems. First one is goal programming with single goal and goal programming with multiple goals. Goal programming with multiple goals, again classified into two parts. First one is non-preemptive goal programming and preemptive goal programming. We would study goal programming with single goal to understand the basic procedure of handling situations under goal programming problems. So let's have a case of single objective. In this case, there is objective function is z is equal to 40x1 plus 35x2. A decision maker wants to maximize this objective function, which are subject to these constants, and the condition of non-negativity is x1 and x2 greater than or equal to 0. So this is the simple case. Now we would convert this case in goal programming problem. Suppose the manager has quantified the objective function. Remember that in goal programming, we quantify every objective. So suppose a decision maker set an objective of achieving 1400 rupee of achieving profit of 1400 rupees. It means the decision maker has quantified the z value that is equal to 1400. Then what would be the procedure of handling this situation? The first constant would be as it is, that is 2x1 plus 3x2 less than or equal to 60, and would be converted into equality by simply adding a slack variable, that is s1, like we did in case of simplex method. Similarly, the second constant would also be converted into equality by adding another surplus variable, say s2, in a similar manner that we followed in case of simplex method. Now the most important aspect is this particular equation. In goal programming problems, the decision makers set a goal in quantitative terms for every objective function. So for this particular objective function, the decision makers has set a goal that is represented by this equation. In this equation, 40x1 plus 35x2 plus d negative minus d positive is equal to 1400. Remember the meaning of d negative. D negative here represents the underachievement of the set goal, and d positive represents the overachievement of the set goal. There can be three possible states. In first, when the value of 40x1 plus 35x2 is exactly equal to 1400. In that case, the value of d minus would be equal to 0, and the value of d plus would also be equal to 0. In second case, when there is the underachievement of the goal. So underachievement means the actual profit is less than 1400 rupees. Suppose it is equal to 1000 rupees. In that case, the value of d negative would be equal to 400 rupees, and it would be added to 40x1 plus 35x2 to match with the set goal, that is equal to 1400. In third case, there can be overachievement of the goal. Suppose the actual profit earned by the company is 2000 rupees. In that case, the value of 600, that is the additional profit, would be represented by d positive, and it would be subtracted from this subtracted from the sum of 40x1 and 35x2 to equate with the set goal. So in this way, we set a goal and represent it in an equation that is equal to 40x1 plus 35x2 plus d negative minus d positive is equal to 1400, where d negative represents the underachievement of the goal and d positive represents the overachievement of the set goal, which are subject to the condition of non-negativity. The value of x1, x2, d negative, d positive can be equal to or greater than 0. They cannot be negative. So with these four basic variables, or 4 variables and 2 additional variables, additional slack variables, that would be added in equation 1 or in constant 1 and in constant 2 to convert it into an equation, like 2x1 plus 3x2 plus s1 would be equal to 60, 4x1 plus 3x2 plus s2 would be equal to 96. So in total there would be 6 variables or decision variables. With this information, we can solve this problem by applying simplex method. By taking s1, s2 and d negative as basic variables and rest of the variables as non-basic variables, we can proceed as we did in case of simplex method. So this type of problems can be solved after converting into this form by applying simplex method, and the objective here would be minimization of d negative, as d negative represents the underachievement of the objective and d positive represents the overachievement of the objective. As if we overachieve our objective, then there is no problem to the company or the decision maker. Overachievement is always welcome, but the focus would be on the minimization of the underachievement of the objective. So our objective in this particular case would be minimization of the d negative or minimization of the underachievement. That's why we have taken z is equal to d negative. Now we would discuss goal programming problems with multiple objectives. Based on the comparative importance of the goals, the multiple goal programming problems are classified into 2 parts. First one is non-preemptive goal programming problems. The problems in which all the goals are of equal importance. So this point is very important. When all the goals set by decision maker have equal importance, then they would be known as non-preemptive goal programming problems. And in another case, when it is not the case, or the problem in which some goals are of more importance than the other ones, then this type of problems would be known as preemptive goal programming. So basic difference is that in non-preemptive goal programming, all goals are of equal importance, and in preemptive goal programming, there is some priorities with respect to some goals, or some goals are more important than the other goals. Now we would discuss different techniques that should be adopted to handle these cases of non-preemptive goal programming and preemptive goal programming. So here is the basic procedure that should be adopted while dealing with the goal programming problems with multiple goals. In first step, we need to establish a specific goal in quantitative terms for each objective. So for each objective function, we need to set a specific goal or a goal in quantitative terms. In second step, we need to set an objective function for each objective. So for each objective, we need to set objective function and specific goal. In third step, find a solution that minimizes the deviations. Remember, in goal programming, we try to minimize the deviations of objectives from their respective goals. First of all, we would discuss a case of non-preemptive goal programming problems. There's a production manager of a company who wants to schedule a week's production for two products that are represented as P1 and P2. With there are certain restrictions or constraints, the weekly availability of resources is limited to 600 labor hours, 1000 kg of material 1 and 1200 kg of material 2. With this information, that denotes that the profit per unit of product 1 is 20 rupees and the profit for per unit of product of P2 is 32 rupees. So for product 1 it is 20 rupees and for product 2 it is 32 rupees. Further, the additional information is given that product 1 would maintain 0.3% in the workforce and product 2 would maintain 0.7% of the workforce. So with this information, we need to solve or satisfy the different goals set by the production manager. This page shows the goals set by the production manager. Suppose there are x1 and x2, two variables which represent the number of units of product P1 and product P2. Suppose that the production manager has set a goal of achieving profit of 5400 rupees. So it is the goal 1 in which the production manager wants to achieve a profit of 5400 rupees, in which the profit per unit of product P1 is 20 rupees and profit per unit per unit of product P2 is 32 rupees. The goal 2 is that the production manager wants to maintain the availability of workforce equal to 108. So it is the minimum level of workforce that is engaged in production process, that is equal to 108 with the information given in this equation. 1 unit of product P1 engage or maintain 0.3 workforce and X2 maintains or P2 maintains 0.75 workforce in the organization. So it is the second goal of production manager to maintain the workforce equal to 108 subject to these constraints. In first constraint, which shows the limitation of labor hours 2x1 plus 4x2 less than or equal to 600. Second shows the limitation of material M1 and third shows the limitation of material M2. For that purpose, we need to convert the problem in a standard form, and for that purpose we need to introduce certain deviational variables like D negative, D positive, and for each goal we have to introduce the deviational variables. For first equation or for first goal, we would introduce D1 negative that denotes the number of rupees below the profit goal of rupees 5400. That shows the underachievement of first goal. Similarly, we need to introduce D1 positive that denotes the overachievement of the first goal. D2 negative represents the underachievement of goal 2 and D2 positive represents the overachievement of the goal 2. So the decision maker has two goals, goal 1 and goal 2, with these three constraints. So now we need to convert this information into a standard form. And after doing that, the problem would look like this. To convert the first goal in a standard form, we added D1 negative and D1 positive. D1 negative represents the underachievement of the goal and D1 positive represents the overachievement of the goal. So we introduced D1 negative and D1 positive. Similarly, for second goal, we introduced these deviational variables, D2 negative that represents the underachievement of the goal and D2 positive that represents the overachievement of the goal. And all the constants are converted into equality by introducing slack variables. In equation 1, we introduced slack variable 1, in 2 slack variable 2, and in third equation we introduced slack variable 3. So now in total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 decision variables, and the problem is in standard form. So now you can observe that this type of situation can be handled by applying the simplex method. So this problem from now on can be solved with the help of simplex method, in which S1, S2, S3, D1 negative and D2 negative would form the basis of the simplex table, and rest of the variables would be known as non-basic variables of the simplex table with these right hand side values. So this problem now can be handled with the help of simplex method. Now we would discuss an example of preemptive goal programming, in which there is a firm which produces two products, product A and product B, with their per unit profit of rupees per 400 and 300 respectively. There are material constraints. Further, there are some constraints on processing capacity, which is limited to 400 hours per month, and this further information is that the maximum number of units of product A sold is 150 and of product B is 350. So with this information, the production manager sets 3 goals for a particular time period. The goal 1 is that avoid underutilization of the normal processing capacity or productive capacity. Second goal is that sell the maximum number of units of product A and B, and their profit are in ratio of 400 ratio 300, then the weightage given to the sale of the product should be in the same ratio. And third objective is that minimize overtime of processing capacity. So you can see that goal 1 and goal 3 are contradictory. On one side you have to avoid underutilization of the normal production capacity, and on another side you are also required to minimize overtime of the processing capacity. So with this information, we need to set constraints and goals for this problem. First of all, the raw material constraint. We have total availability equal to 300 kg, 1 kg with 1 kg requirement per unit of product A and product B. So the first constraint would be x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 300. Now the processing capacity, that is equal to 400 hours in a particular month, with product A requiring 2 hours and 1 unit of product B requiring 1 hours of processing. So this equation can be converted into standard form by introducing two deviational variables, D1 negative and D1 positive. D1 negative and D1 positive. D1 negative shows underachievement or under processing of the capacity, and D1 positive represents overtime processing of the capacity. And the third constant is that we cannot sell more than 150 units of the product A, so it can be represented in form of this equation: x1 plus d2 plus equal to 150. So the maximum units that can be sold is equal to 150 units, and the maximum units of product B that can be sold is equal to 350 units. These sales levels are maximums, so deviational variables are provided only for their underachievement and not for overachievement. You notice that there are D2 negative but not D2 positive because the values given here are maximum ones, so we have not introduced the variables for overachievement. Similarly, in second case, we have not introduced D3 positive for overachievement of this goal. And remember that the priority must be given to goal 1, then goal 2, and then goal 3. So the highest priority is given here to the goal 1, to goal 2, and then goal 3 in a sequential manner. So we should remember this information, we should keep this information in mind while standardizing the problem or setting the goal for this problem. So first of all, we need to convert this table into standardized form. The first constant is x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 300. It can be converted into equality by introducing a slack variable, and the first goal is here that requires the decision maker to avoid underutilization of the normal productive capacity. So the productive capacity is equal to 400 hours. It should be fully utilized, or the underutilization should be avoided. For that purpose, it can be represented in the form of equation 2x1 plus x2 plus d1 minus d1 plus equal to 400, where d1 negative represents the underachievement of the goal or underutilization of the normal productive capacity, and the first goal demands that the underutilization should be avoided, and d1 negative here represents the underutilization of the goal. So first priority should be given to the d1 negative, which represents the underutilization of the processing capacity. So it would take place, or it would be considered in the final objective function, that is z, which is equal to p1 d1 negative. D1 negative is given highest priority, that is p1. So we are writing it here like p1, that is the level of priority given to this objective, and d1 negative, that should be minimized. Second objective of this problem demands that the maximum number of units of product A and product B should be sold, which is represented in this equation. The maximum units of product A that can be sold is equal to 150 units, and it is represented by this equation: x1 plus d2 negative. D2 negative represents the underachievement of the objective. So again, the focus of the decision maker would be on D2 negative. The decision maker wants to minimize D2 negative, because only in that case we can achieve this goal. Similarly, the second part of this goal is that we need to maximize the amount sold of product B, and for that purpose we need to minimize D3 negative, which denotes the underachievement of the second objective. So in main objective function, this objective is given the priority at second at second number. That's why we have written P2. 4D2 negative and 3D3 negative. The number 4 denotes that the weightage given to x1 and 3 denotes the weightage given to the x2. If you look at the main problem, then there was a condition that the manager would give the weightage to the sale of the products in the same ratio, that is 400:300 or 4:3. So on the basis of this condition, the decision makers have assigned the value of 4 to D2 negative and value of 3 to D3 negative. The third objective of this problem demands the minimization of the overtime of the processing capacity. If you look here carefully, the processing capacity is equal to 400 hours, and the overutilization or the overtime of the processing capacity is denoted by deviational variable D1 positive. So the decision maker needs to minimize the value of D1 positive. That is the third objective, and it would be written here like P3 D1 positive. P3 denotes that it is the last in the priorities given by the decision maker. So this objective would be of the least importance to the decision maker, and first objective would be of the highest importance to the decision maker. So in this way, we can standardize, or we can convert the problems into standard form, and after that, after converting the problem into standard form, we can solve the problem with the help of simplex method or with the help of modified simplex method. So to find out the solutions to the goal programming problems, we can apply simplex method, modified simplex method, or graphical method that would be discussed in the videos of this lecture series. Thank you.